Hi guys, welcome to Reality React channel. In this channel, we watch reality TV shows to recap, review, and for the fun of it. Today, I'll be recapping the Mummy Club Season 3, Episode 6, titled The Heels Are Made for Dancing. So the whole thing is that still continuing with the party, and then Nozipho comes in after all the ladies have come in, and then Mrs. J started a conversation with her to say, oh no, before that, Peladi tells Nozipho it's a good thing that you came without your kids because there's no space for them. And then she got a call saying that her child is not well, so she's called back home. And she complains about being a mother. And I'm like, but you're like a part-time mother. You're not really full-time. So maybe maybe it's the weekend. That's when she got the kids and the kids fell sick on her days. So it's not like, but I think it's unfair for me to say that it's not like she's not a full-time mother, because I think you cannot, mostly as a mothers that I have seen, it seems like they can't let go that easily. And I think that's why these women were judging her for letting her kids go and seeing her kids over the weekend. And I feel like I understood where they were coming from, but I also get where she was coming from. But no, that's not the point of this whole thing. And then Mrs. J's tells her that Mrs. Sunday told her that she was not happy with her with something. But as the conversation goes, we see that this conversation was probably directed to happen because Nozipho says that she spoke to Mrs. J about this whole thing on the phone. So Mrs. J was probably told that have that conversation you had with her over the phone now in front of everyone. So that so that we can hear what they think about each other and hear everyone's opinion about one of them, and all of that. And we did hear, and it seems like Mrs. Sunday won't be she's not gonna be able to stand on her feet and say what exactly does she feel. Remember when Mrs. J has the BAP all the time, she always has a snacks comment in her diary session. And I think these things that Mrs. J is doing with the bapping kind of irritates Mrs. Sunday. But she doesn't want to acknowledge it in front of Mrs. Sunday because she knows it's wrong to be irritated by someone's sangoma business that has nothing to do with her. So that, and also we found out what Happy thinks of Mrs. J, because she said, say it to me, to Mrs. Sunday, say it that Mrs. J usile. Like, that's your own opinion. You didn't hear that from Mrs. Sunday. And Mrs. J didn't get that, or even if she did, she doesn't want to pay attention to it. She wants to, Mrs. Sunday to tell her what she thinks. And then, so the thing that irritated her ordered Nozipho that with the conversation she had with Mrs. Sunday about Mrs. J is the fact that Mrs. Sunday, she thinks that Mrs. J is forward and she wants to blindside her. And I'm like, how? How does she want to blindside her? As she said that Mrs. Sunday is the one that asked her about whether she has left her house or not. Mrs. J is saying that, have you gone home are you fixing your home? Are you guys like rebuilding? And what's the way forward with your relationship with your husband? But as Nozipho is busy acting like this, like a big thing that Mrs. J is hunting for news from her. Well, when she was the one who came to Mummy Club and also allowed those kids to post that video online about her husband, like those type of things. It's not like people went hunting for her news. It's not like... It's the same way if someone was to ask Peladi about her 33 years older than her husband, ex-husband. Like, it's not like they went hunting for it. She brought it up. And that's what people want to know. And Nozipho is busy treating people with contempt of saying, like, you want to be in my business. Of course, we want to be in her business because she's the one who brought it up to us. And Mrs. J also tells us in her diary session that she's not Nozipho's fan and she's not trying to make friends with her. I'm like, good for her. She should have told her that, please, ma'am, don't act like your business is very special. And also, this thing of, I feel like I thought that Mrs. J was going to be doing these things of reading of sangomas and spiritual people, reading people in public when no one had asked for it. So like, but she didn't do that. She didn't do that. She was saying that she wanted to advise Nozipho as a spiritual person around his temple. And Nozipho does not want to hear it. And I'm like, why is she here? I'm even agreeing with Vuyi in terms of Nozipho's demeanor around this thing. Because Vuyi also tells us that why is she acting like we are searching for stuff? We want to know what happened in her relationship, even though Vuyi also does not want to tell us anything about how her husband had passed and how she had 3 men that she... Okay, I feel like that's wrong. But how she had 3 men that she had... kids with. Also tells us the father of the firstborn is the husband that passed on. The third one is the one that I met the husband. What stuff like that we want to know. But she doesn't want to tell us as well. So these women, they just on the reality on the Mommy Club just to be on the Mommy Club. No stories, nothing. They don't want to discuss their life. They just want to keep protecting it. And also, I've watched some of the interviews that Nozipho has done on her channel. She keeps saying that she is also in the market and how in the dating market and how the dating market is polluted and whatnot. But tell us directly that I have left my marriage. Has she done that on her social media? I don't know. I have not checked it, but I feel like she needs to be up and out and about it. Like, it's fine. She can be the single mother of 8 kids that she has. Okay, maybe that man will take his other kids, then she'll be left with like her 5 or 4 kids. I can't really remember. But it will be like that, and it's okay. And even if she doesn't meet anyone, it's fine. But she shouldn't be acting like people are in her business for just being in her business, like we don't have anything else to do. You are on the reality TV. Give us the reality of your life. That's all we are asking for. And the party goes on. And Happy gives a speech and everyone is happy and jovial. But one thing we have realized is still that in this whole episode, because even in the next scene that Mrs. Sunday is going to do with her helper, we just see that Mrs. Sunday is actually a mena that Happy is calling her. Because even like... there's so many things that Mrs. Sunday does that you just like, ma'am, are you doing this for the TV? Or you just... Hey, because... Hi, she couldn't even answer Mrs. J. She's making her helpers grieve about her. Now she's remembering that her brother passed on in 2002. And I was hoping that they would write 2022 on the screen because, I mean, and I'm not saying grief. Grief is a journey. You don't arrive at one point and then you are jovial about it because one day it can hit you like it hit Mrs. Sand on the show. But she should have noticed that I'm making this about me. The helper is not even crying because there's no space for her to cry. If you start by comforting me, but also make it about yourself, then she doesn't know how to handle the whole thing. Like Mrs. Sunday is a many shame. But we'll see as the episode goes. The next scene is Mrs. J visiting her mom. And she's telling her about the fact that she has joined this Mommy Club and how everyone is, and she feels like there's no peace because she was even explaining that Peladi is married to a 33 years older man. You know, when you're gossiping with your mom, she's just free talking about the ladies and how she just, it's just a gossiping session. Basically, her mom just advised her that try and bring peace. And also she acknowledges that, you know, that thing when as you grow older, you notices how your mother has raised you and all of that. She notices that when her father passed on, her mom was actually quite young. And the fact that she has remained alone, her mother raised them by herself while she was a widow. And then and all of that. And then when she was about to leave, she asked her mom to pray for her. And then her noses keeps coming up. She burps again and again. And I'm just like, what is it? What? Her noses likes attention, you know? And then she says, oh, you're bringing your noses to me. And I'm just like, your mom's ancestors are your ancestors, right? Except for the father's side. But if I'm chilling on young one, then it's mixed up. Then we move to Vuyi's home and she calls her kids to find out how they are doing, how they are feeling about their dad's passing. she calls him Babakalino or Babalino, something like that. And then Unati is the one that cries, and Aisha is the one that they say she conceals her feelings, and she's the one in therapy. And I feel like Unati should also be doing therapy the way she's crying. And she explains to us a little bit that that the man that passed, it's her husband, is not the biological father of Unati. She met him when Unati was 1.5 years. So that's part of the reasons why she's crying like that, because that's the only father she knew. And I'm like, who is her father then? Is it the one you divorced, or is it someone else? I just feel like she needs to give us something. She can't be accusing Nozipho of giving us nothing and then continues to give us nothing, except that her older child as well explains that when the guy passed on, he was meant to come and fetch her so that they could chill out with the family. And she says that he normally didn't text her or call her. She will only call her when he is with Vui. But that time he called her when he was alone, and he was saying that they were going to fetch her so that she could be with the family. And then I don't think Aisha, the one who's 6, she's the one whom they are saying she's concealing her feelings. She looks at her older sister like, stop crying, don't cry. It's a sense of just hold it together. We are in public. You can't be crying out like that in their diary session. I think that's the vibe I got, that she's saying, not in public. Cry when you are at home. And then also Unati tries to understand Aisha too, so that she can open up. I don't know if they want her to be crying all the time. I'm sure when she's talking to the therapist, also you will get feedback in terms of how she's doing and all of those things around grief, the grieving of her dad. She says the other time she was crying for her dad. So they are planning to do a braai on commemorate his memory. I am hoping at that braai, that's when she will tell us what happened to him, because also Unati tells us the way he passed on wasn't nice. Like, she's just a kid, and I get that. But like the way people passes on, it's never a nice thing. Even if they were sick for long, people usually feel like they have gone to rest, they are tired. But maybe this one was sudden, so that's why they're saying like that. I get that from them, but you know what? They must tell us what happened. That's all I am saying. I want to know what happened. And the next scene is the scene that sealed that side of who Mrs. Sunday is something else on the screen, because she's taking a walk with the helper, because the helper has lost her brother. Her brother was shot in his home when her mother was watching. So those type of things. And then she's like, no, you must go home. And she's explaining. And then now she starts to relate to her own grief of her brother that passed on in 2002, almost 20 years ago. And then she's still crying about it. I don't want to judge her for that, for crying, because I understand grief is long. And for some people it's long, and it's also a journey. And sometimes it hits you when you were not expecting it. And maybe it's hitting Mrs. Sunday. But that lady is not even crying, the helper. She's just being staunched, and she's not doing anything. And then as they are talking, she says, you must also go home. And I'm like, is she going home to the funeral? Is she going home? When did this person pass on? Did the brother pass on while they were shooting? Did the brother pass on before? What is happening? So then she is talking about that, and then she ends up telling her that she wants her to go back to school to do something where you can teach and also look after children. Like, I'm like, but why don't you ask her what she would like to study? Is that her passion? Or it's the job she can do, because maybe that's the only thing she can do at that current moment? And yeah, Like, why is that not a conversation? And she tells us that that conversation is happening for the first time. They have never had that conversation before, so she might be doing it for the camera. And she's saying that she doesn't have a hope that it will happen. That's why I'm saying that Mrs. Sunday is acting for us here. She's just show for the camera. And also she talks about that lady's kids, and we have not seen her and her kids that she has with her husband, so we don't know anything about them. And like, I just want to know, is she also in the situation where the similar situation with Peladi, where she can't even say the names of her kids, where she can't even be in camera with them? Like, we want to know what is happening there. Like, talk about your own life. Now we know of this brother, this one who's grieving for her brother, but not you and your children. You and you, okay, their husband, not because no one is showing their husband, but show us, give us something of your own. Not everything revolving around the nanny that you can't even help her pay the bills for her eye issue or her eye operation, whatever needs to happen. She has not done that, but now she's promising to take that lady to school. Like, no, man. Mrs. Sunday. Mm-mm. So part of the reasons why I say Mrs. Sunday does not want to let us in her relationship stuff is because she asked that helper, what is happening in your relationship? And the helper now tells us in her diary session that the partner that she was with was abusive towards her. And then that's part of the reason. Then the next scene is that they are at the dancing with the hills, and they're at some studio, and Mrs. Sunday was not invited, and Mrs. and Vui was, they didn't talk about her, but yeah, I will assume that she was not invited, and only Mrs. J, Noxie, Peladi, and Happy, the organizer. And they all arrive there in their big cars and stuff like that. They're all wearing heels and exercising stuff. And only Mrs. J is in a pantsuit and polka dot heels. And then I don't know if those heels are not meant for dancing. That's why Hippie was also commenting about them. I don't understand. I don't know about dancing in heels, but she commented and say, "Oh, Mrs. Polka dots," and stuff like that. And then once they are done dancing, they now sit down and their clothes now come out. And then Mrs. J tells us in a diary session that Happy seems to have abantu abadala who are protective over her. So whenever she's around her, they come out. They have a message for Happy. And then she tells them that she has a message for Happy, but she doesn't want to talk about it. And then Happy says, "Oh, tell us, show me." And then now she answers us, ask Happy, where was she last night? Where did she sleep? And then she says, "I slept at home." And then she's like, "Oh, no, no, even if you slept at home, who was you with in the meeting? Were you with some guy who's a little bit chubby?" And then Happy is the one that brought the chubby guy into the conversation. So Mrs. J says, "No, the person is not that chubby. She's just fine." But the ancestor says that he doesn't have good intentions. And then she also asked about where Mrs. Sunday is, and she says she didn't invite her. And she's like, "I want to talk to her about the things she said because she ignored it at the party." She said that she doesn't know what she said about Mrs. J. And she said that some things in her diary session, she said some things are not worth confronting people about because they're just not that important. But I'm like, what did you say? And then they advise her to call Mrs. Sunday so that they can talk about it. She's like, "No, I don't want her to have enough time to ponder on what she said." But I'm like, she could have also asked Nosy, because they had a conversation right on the phone. She could have told us what she had, or maybe she's going when she confront Mrs. Sunday, she will also tell us what Nosy said in the call. And then now they move to that conversation of Noxie and Peladi. not liking each other and the fights, and who apologized, who didn't apologize, and they all said that they are over it. But Peladi says that she never received the apology. And I'm like, but she had been apologizing. What exactly does she need to say? I am so sorry I called you childish. I am so sorry. What else? I don't remember what else. I was passive aggressive towards you. And yeah, what exactly must she say? And yeah, like I just feel like Peladi wants people to say I am so sorry with an explanation. I think that's where she's going. That's why she doesn't like the fact that this lady is not properly apologizing. And then also and also Noxie on her own diary session, she's like, nah, it's important that one accept the apology that she never received and whatnot. And then also when they are talking, Mrs. J points out that she used to like Peladi, but now she's starting to doubt that. And I like that she expressed this because I remember in one of her diary sessions, she did say that she liked Peladi, and now she's doubting whether Peladi is actually a good person or not because of her behavior, of the things that she said about Noxie. So those type of things and all of those things. And then Happy is saying that Mrs. J is hypocritical because she said that you do not say to someone's face that you do not like them. And also there's like a brewing energy happening between Mrs. J and Peladi, because also Peladi is like, Mrs. J, you are one-sided. You are taking Nox's side without hearing my side. And then now she says that she also feels like she was offended by Noxie because Noxie called her childish and she never apologized for that. So that's the thing that she doesn't like about Noxie. And I'm like, makes sense, ma'am. If this girl is busy calling you childish and she has been saying, that's why I said yes the other day that in the previous review that this Noxie girl keeps saying childish to people who are older than her, to people who are the same age as her. Like, why are you even in this thing? When they try to talk, she's like, oh, I'm over it. And Happy points that out, that it seems like this lady does not want to acknowledge when she's wrong. She always just wants to say, oh, let's not talk about it, I'm over that. And when she goes to talk to her friend, she brings the stuff up. Maybe it's because she's not comfortable with them, but also you can't do that if they're trying to solve it. Even when Peladi points out that she never got an apology for being called childish, she's like, oh, when she was starting with it, I was like, oh, she's gonna get to the point where she says, I am so sorry I called you childish. Just say, it doesn't hurt anybody. And I don't know, maybe it's accepting that she's wrong, but no, you can say, I am sorry. You felt the way you felt. Okay, that's not an apology. Say, I am sorry I offended you and keep it moving. I don't understand why people do not know how to apologize. It's just an easy thing. Say you are sorry and then don't do it again. That's easy. Don't point out things that people do not like about themselves. And also, hey guys, when she goes to the reunion and she finds out that Noxie said, but she won't be surprised, but Noxie said that she's not the one who who divorced her and never gave her anything and took her children. How is she going to feel? She's going to be so angry. She's going to be so angry and so disappointed, like, no. But yeah, I just thought of that, like that thing that she said. And then you know what, I think Miss Peladi and Mrs. J, they are fighting, and they are fighting because Mrs. J has picked a side and she wants to stick by it, and I feel like it's reasonable for her. And and the reason why she's bringing that conversation here is because her mother said try to bring peace, because they are going to be doing things, and this is episode 6, they still have 5 more episodes together, and that's like, yeah, they have a lot of time together. So this thing is going to brew and brew and brew, and it's just not nice to be around people who are passively fighting. Because also Noxie said that she wants to dance with the ladies. She doesn't want to do anything else. She doesn't want to chit chat because they are not her type of people. And I wonder if she'll come back for next season, or this will be the last season of the Mommy Club. And then we won't be seeing Happy anymore in any of these things, social media and stuff like that. But I think it's the reason why these people are here, it's to build their own social life career. The same way Nosy is now having a YouTube channel that she's doing podcast on. And also, I want to say something. When she did that podcast, when she first announced it, I thought she would be telling us about her life. At least give us a glimpse. You see how that Lakonko did it, where she's talking about her own life. I thought that's what she would do, and I think and when initially in the first episode, I partly understood, because I'm like, okay, maybe she's doing that life lately. She's gonna tell us about her own life, not have people come and do interviews and all of that, and then we don't know anything. She just puts snippets of here and there about her own life, and not tell us everything. It would have been nice. It would have been coming out from her own narrative type of thing, like what's that girl's name? Promise. She has her own narrative, but she doesn't tell us anything about actually. Yeah. She did the reality TV thing that she was doing with her friends. She told us pieces. She could have done something like that. If she doesn't want someone to be editing, chopping, and putting pieces into her own life about whatever is going on, whether she's staying in her marriage, whether she is leaving, we do not know, because when she mentions these things to the people, when she say, "Oh, I'm going to start dating, whatnot, the dating life is what," those people do not ask her, "Are you single? Have you left your marriage?" Well, that's what we want to know. That's it. We want to know. Thank you guys for watching this recap. I feel like now I was dwindling into everything else. Everything else on social media. Thank you for watching this recap. See you guys in the next one. Please like the video and comment on it, and subscribe on the channel.